Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, for a few days now, I have been procrastinating, or rather, the acting like the Buridan as. Uh, it is about whether I could answer this question in Hausa. I have been trying all along to find suitable terms to apply to the technical terms in this, but to no avail. So I have finally decided to answer the question in English language, but permission is hereby given to anyone who would like to translate the clip into Hausa language. I know Abubakar, Sani Garba, and Lawan Adamu are trying, and they are getting many things right. We would like to develop our own language to a point that we can use it for intellectual and academic discourse. So let's get to the answer. To the question. Even though the question was asked long ago, so I cannot actually remember the precise phrase or the precise form of the answer of the question. However, it is about human beings migrating to another planet. I don't know whether he chose Mars as a specific example and he exclusively meant Mars, or he just talked about any planet with Mars as an example. So let me first of all address the question as if it was asked about any planet in the world. So first of all, we live in a solar system, a system of planets, rocky ones as we can say, and of different forms and sizes, revolving around the sun. We talked about planetary revolution in the previous talk. So today we are just going to state the fact that the sun is a star, just like other stars that we know and that we see in the night. It is like this. We see it in this form and feel its impact because it is closer to us than the rest of stars. But all stars are like the sun. Operate like the sun. They give out energy, but they are of different ages. They are of varying ages, varying sizes, and what you have. So our sun is a member of a group of stars that is a galaxy known as the Milky Way galaxy, and many other stars have been observed around. Many stars have been observed to have planets circling around them, just like our own planets, one of which is the Earth on which we live, circulate around the star sun. So actually, I don't know what he actually means, but I will take Mars as a prime example. The closest star to us is 400, is 4.35 light years away from us. That means if you send a signal of light or any form of electromagnetic signal to that star system, it would take it 4.35 years to arrive. Between us and the sun is a distance of 150 million kilometers. Such is sometimes referred to in cosmology or astrophysics as solar solar distance. So for a life to exist or to thrive anywhere, there must be some conditions to be met. It is a kind of question of fine-tuning. There are actually things that are tuned to accommodate life. This is just like the anthropic principle. Yes, we know that conditions on the earth favors the thriving of life because we are here asking the question. The person asking the question whether the earth has fine-tuned natural constants or parameters and the availability of a lot of requirements for existence of life. The questioner here is himself the answer. So here are conditions, some of the conditions that a planet must possess to accommodate life like our own. In the first place, it must have accurate gravity. That is, the gravitational field around it must be exactly of the same strength as the gravitational field around the earth on which we live. Because if we are to migrate to that planet, by the way, let me digress a little and make some comments. Even scientists like Stephen Hawking have given warning that there might be alien invasion and stuff like that, and all the fact that we are going to exhaust the resources on earth, so that need for us to think of how to migrate to another planet or colonize another planet. This is just their own mentality, I would say, in the West. They were colonialists, they colonized other continents, usurped their resources and built their own countries, and now they are afraid maybe some more intelligent lives in form of aliens can come from any part of the universe and invade the earth. But that is pretty dumb, because if at all life exists elsewhere, an intelligent life for that matter, how sure are we that the conditions of that life make it have a mentality like our own? Are they interested in our own resources? Would it be of use to them? Do they have warlike mentality and stuff like that? And the environment where they exist determines their behaviors. Just like the environment here on Earth, even the variation of environments on Earth has brought about different cultures and stuff like that. So let's say it must have average, equal gravity to that of the Earth. Then it must have an appropriate atmosphere just like that of the Earth. Then it must have enough underground and surface water. Then it must have the appropriate chemical composition on the planet so as to enable the growth of plants, and the plants not become poisonous or harmful for growing on that planet that consists of chemicals that are different from those of our own soil. There are, of course, exoplanets that have been sighted, but later we will just focus on Mars. So the necessary chemicals like carbon abundance, which is one of the most abundant elements in the universe now because of its easy production in stars. Then enough water and oxygen. So let us go about comparing conditions on Earth to conditions on Mars. Mars has only half the acceleration due to gravity. On Mars is just about half that of the Earth. What would this lead to? A lot of our physiological functions are determined by this gravity G. It determines atmospheric pressure, determines what gases can stay in our atmosphere. So if you have less gravity, then your heart will not beat as it does here, and that will actually bring about problems of blood flow through the body. And also our bones are like piezoelectric crystals. Piezoelectric crystals are those that produce electricity under pressure, and vice versa. So our bones create new cells, new bone cells, to replace aging ones depending on the atmospheric pressure, on our way, on the weight we exert on the bones. So where you have a less than this atmospheric pressure, you are actually going to have less production of bone cells, which would lead to the depreciation of the bone known as osteoporosis. Accordingly, when you have the gravity greater than we are used to here, then there are possibilities that we cannot even breathe. Even where the gravity is less than ours, we cannot breathe the same way we do on Earth. And the heart count, number of beatings per minute of the heart would not be the same if the gravity is higher or lower. So we know the gravity on Mars is far lower than that of our own in the Earth. Then appropriate atmosphere. The atmosphere of the Earth has 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, and other gases like carbon dioxide and what you have. So this 21% of oxygen is what we need for processing of the food we eat. So on Mars there is 93, I think, or 97% carbon dioxide. Oxygen is relegated to some decimal places, I think 0.3% on the planet Mars. So when an ordinary being here has been taken to the Mars, it's like kind of you feel suffocated because you won't have enough oxygen. So I dare the astronauts, as they call themselves, to land on Mars without oxygen tanks and things like that. So if we are to migrate to that planet, are we going to be to carry enough oxygen that will last us how long? And everybody is going to have an oxygen tank, because when you let the oxygen, the condition of atmospheric pressure will not allow it stay. The Mars will still readjust itself to have that 93% carbon dioxide. Then underground and surface water. We all know that the Earth is sometimes referred to as the blue planet or blue dot, according to Carl Sagan, or the green planet. This is because over 71% of the Earth is made up of water. So the temperature on Mars is on the average minus 70 degrees Celsius. You can't have liquid water at that temperature. And even if there are traces of water, the water must actually be ice. So instead of having polar glaciers of water as ice, as we have here on Earth, like near Greenland and the Antarctica, on Mars you rather have frozen carbon dioxide. You have frozen carbon dioxide. So I don't think one would not feel suffocated. Then there is no enough water to guarantee the existence of man on Mars.